Alright, this is a video response for Johnny Smooth, and he asks the question, what are you reading now? What I am reading now. Book number 1. There are a few. So, this is one that I picked up yesterday, I believe, and I started reading it last night and got to page 72. So, it is called Fat Kid Rules the World by K.L. Going, and it's a teen book. The back says, Troy Billings is 17, 296 pounds, friendless, utterly miserable, and about to step off the subway platform in front of an oncoming train. Until he meets Kurt McRae, an emaciated, semi-homeless, high school dropout guitar genius, the stuff of which Lower East Side punk rock legends are made. Never mind that Troy's dad thinks Kurt's a drug addict, and Troy's brother thinks Troy's the biggest, literally, loser in Manhattan. Soon, Kurt's recruited Troy as his new drummer, despite the fact that Troy can't play the drums. Together, Kurt and Troy will change the world of punk and Troy's own life forever. So, the back of it intrigued me, but the voice is really cool too. It's funny, you know. The narrator is, you know, pretty self-disparaging and all that, but I don't know, I just think it's interesting. Book number 2, which I haven't started yet, is another book that I bought with the Fat Kid Rules the World book. This one is called The End of the World as We Know It, and it's by Leslie Choice, and the back reads, Asked to write an English class assignment that expresses who he really is, 16-year-old Carson takes pleasure in filling the page with hate for everything in his life. Stuck in a private school for kids who have repeatedly flunked out elsewhere, he knows there's nowhere lower to sink. Flunk-out Academy is the last resort for Carson and his classmates in a small town where the deeply troubled students are decidedly unwelcome. Then Carson meets Christine. She struggles to get by, living in a trailer by herself, abandoned by her mother and father. Confronted by her deep sadness, Carson starts to care for her, and she for him. Once focused on someone other than himself, he begins to notice the world around him and realizes there is enough beauty to fight against hopelessness, love to battle all hate. Together, Carson and Christine struggle to work out how to live in an imperfect world. So, teen angst, teen trouble. Love fixes everything, but I don't know. I thought it sounded interesting, so I picked it up, and yeah. I was in a bit of an angsty mood myself at that point. That's okay. The third one is a classic novel, which I've actually read before. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I think that's a picture of her blowing a big bubble or something. I'm not going to read the back out. You know, it's a 1950s story. She ends up in a mental institution eventually for depression and stuff, and it's about her year in the Bell Jar, which means basically under the haze of mental illness. So, if you've never read Sylvia Plath, I would suggest it. I like it. I don't know. And last but not least is a book that I've also read before. I've barely started it. I'm on page 7, and the book starts at page 3. And this is a little bit of a geeky one. I'm almost embarrassed to post this, but Star Trek The Next Generation Imzadi by Peter David, who, by the way, is probably the best Star Trek writer I've ever read. He writes a lot of Q books and that sort of thing. So anyway, so if you know Imzadi, Deanna and Will. Not much more to say there. So anyway, I hope you like the video. Bye.